I'm going to show you on this video the ideal webinar funnel for selling online courses. So why should you be interested in this funnel? Webinars can be super profitable funnels. I've got clients using this funnel who are making tens of thousands a month with it. I've built one of these myself for our own business that brought in $100,000 in 6 months. If you're using ads, this can be a great way to get a great return on ad spend. And just overall, webinars are super powerful, and they work amazingly for selling online courses, which is specifically this funnel is about, a webinar funnel for selling online courses. And the reason it works so well is it's online video and you're selling an online course, which is online video. So there's a great match, there's a great synchronicity between the two. And if you've already got a webinar that's working, then this funnel is going to give you a really big turbocharge to it. I'm going to show you this as an evergreen funnel for your webinar, so it doesn't rely on you giving the webinar repeatedly live. Now, that does depend on you already having done it live and tested it and proven it until you've got a really good presentation, because the presentation, without that, the whole thing doesn't really work. But if you've got that, then this is going to really turbocharge the whole thing. And like I said, this is for online courses because that's what I specialize in, but the principles apply to all kinds of webinar funnels. So whatever you are selling with your webinar, you're going to find something useful in here as well. So who am I? My name's John. I'm from a company called Data Driven Marketing, and we build funnels for selling online courses, including webinar funnels. And Mikhail asked me if I would share all of our strategies and techniques we use for putting together these kinds of funnels. And because it's Mikhail, I said yes and thought it'd be great to share it with you guys. So the way I've pulled this funnel together is it's information from every successful webinar that I've ever seen, that I've ever worked on, or that I've ever funnel hacked. Everything that ever worked, I pulled together into one system. And I put it together into this one template. And I'm going to share everything with you today. So how this is going to work. This is the funnel that we're going to end up with. Up onto the screen. Here we go. So this is the funnel that we're going to end up with. It's incredibly thorough, and it works to make the absolute most of your webinar and make sure the highest percentage of people convert. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through and actually build that from this blank canvas, build it one step at a time. And then you're going to be able to download the funnel map using the buttons on the side. But I want to explain it. I want to explain every single step so you understand why each part is there and what kind of results you can get for it and what order to build them in. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with just putting onto the screen your actual webinar presentation. Here we go, webinar is, we're going to use this one here. Great. So you've got the actual webinar. What do you need in order to get people onto the webinar? Well, you're almost definitely going to have an opt-in page that comes before that. And then in order to get people there, you're going to be pointing them from somewhere. So maybe from your website or maybe from some emails. And both of those are going to point people to the opt-in. And after the opt-in, you're going to have some kind of a confirmation page. So let's just put here, this is your website. So after the opt-in, you'll have a confirmation page. And then you've got the webinar itself. And after the webinar, you probably, especially if you're selling a course, you've got a sales page that you point people to. And after that, you've got an order page. Put that over here. And that's probably it. That's like the most basic version that you could have that I can think of. And the problem with this funnel is that people might drop out at lots of points along the way. They might not remember to turn up to the webinar. They might not finish the webinar. If they turn up, they might not go to the sales page. If they go to the sales page and add to cart, they might not finish checking out. So what we want to do is we want to add in some reminder emails throughout the way to get people to actually show up and convert at each of those points. So let's put those in here. So some reminder emails to actually turn up to the webinar. And what we'll do is we'll put in place 3 of those, one for a few days before, one for 24 hours before, and one for 15 minutes before. And all of these are just reminding people the link to go to turn up to the webinar. And we're also going to want a confirmation email when people first sign up. So let's move this part over here, back a little bit. These are our reminder emails. So let's put a little note to say that that's reminder emails. And what this will do, this will increase the percentage of people who actually turn up to the webinar. Might take it an extra 10% of people actually turning up to it. So that's huge, right? So what we also want is after someone's just signed up, we want a confirmation email, like I mentioned, for them. Just to say, don't forget, this is the link. Thanks so much for signing up. Here's how it's going to work, all that kind of thing. Confirmation email. Perfect. Now, if they get to the webinar, but they don't go back to the sales page, then we're going to want to, they don't go to the sales page, we're going to want to send them a couple of emails reminding them about the actual offer that we made. So let's put those in place. A few emails over here, reminding them about the offer that we made on the webinar. And so that's going to increase the percentage of people who see the webinar who then actually convert to a sale. And what about if they get to the order page but they don't finish checking out? Well, then we want a cart abandon email or two, reminding them that that discount or the great deal is going to go away, maybe giving them a testimonial that they can see, kind of telling them how good this offer is. Of course, actually, after the order page, what I should have had in place was a confirmation page after that. There we go. Okay, so that's our reminder emails, our confirmation email, our sales page emails, and the cart abandon emails. Great. Now, people are more likely to remember to attend the webinar, to go to the sales page, and finish checking out. But what if, despite this, they still don't actually attend the webinar? Because some people won't manage to attend the webinar. It'd be great if we could set up a replay for them to catch it later. So let's add that in. Let's add in a replay. And we'll put that one down. Oops. Down here. Okay, cool. And so we're going to move all of this over just a little bit. So we've got space here for it. Okay. And this is our webinar replay. And that will also point to the sales page. Now, here's the issue, is we need to make sure to remind people to attend the webinar replay. So for anybody who doesn't attend, we'll add these reminders in about attending the webinar replay. And of course, if they attend the replay, we want to have some emails for them pointing them to that sales page as well, same as we had with the live webinar. So we'll put these here. After they've watched the replay, we'll point them back to the sales page. And this is going to increase the percentage of people who actually see the sales page, and these ones will increase the percentage of people who actually watch the replay. Okay. Now, everywhere that we've got emails in place, the problem there is not everyone's going to read their emails. People don't always read all of their emails, so we're going to want to find another way to be able to remind them about all of these different things, and that is Facebook retargeting. It's beautiful for doing this because you can match it with the emails. There's some systems like ActiveCampaign where you can actually synchronize your list. Let me just write in retargeting so it's a bit shorter here. Synchronize your Facebook ads list with your email list so the two of them go out at the same time. But even if you can't, you can set it up so that that is going out the same kind of timings based on what pages have been to. So everywhere that we've got an email sequence, we're going to add in these retargeting ads as well. And that is going to increase the effectiveness at every one of those stages. Even going to add it here with the confirmation email, telling people, great, well done for signing up. You can even have that for the confirmation. So that's beautiful. And we're going to do the same actually on the opt-in page. Now, at the opt-in page, we haven't necessarily got their email address at that point, so we can't send in emails, but we can do retargeting for those people who don't actually remember to sign up or who don't sign up. So that's cool. Now, what have we got? Some of these people have gone all the way through this and they've got to the order page and they've bought. But those guys, we haven't got, at the moment, we just got straight to a thank you page. We haven't got anything extra for them to buy. And some of those people would like to buy the more premium version and spend some more money. So we're going to offer them an upsell. So let's put that in place. Here we go, upsell. And if you go and look at anything in the Funnelytics vault, you look at you do funnel hacking of any webinar funnel run by really professional businesses, they've all got this in place. This is completely normal. So we're going to add the upsell in over here. It works really well. It can, with an upsell, you can manage to almost double your average cart value if you have a couple of upsells in place. So that's huge. Imagine if every time you made £1 now, instead you were making £2. It's like it's fantastic. So you have an upsell. If they don't buy that, you have another upsell. You even potentially could have a downsell. If they don't buy the upsell, then you first of all point them to a downsell. If you've got a cheaper version of this, if you look at like Amy Porterfield, for example, if you go through her funnel, what she has is she offers a set of presentation templates. And if you decide you don't want to get that and you click no, thank you very much, then instead of 5 presentation templates, she offers you 2. And then I don't know if she's got a second upsell, but I thought that was a really smart way of having an upsell and a downsell that very tightly linked together. And then after that second upsell, then you would have the confirmation page over here. All right, so now we potentially, by adding these in here, we've potentially doubled the amount of revenue we're making per customer by having other things for them to buy that they might want to get and explaining how they kind of connect to the main course that they've signed up for. Now, still, even with all of these reminders, some people aren't going to see those emails or the retargeting ads and they'll forget to actually attend. So a really nice thing we can put in place is a text message. And I heard Taki Moore talking about this the other day. He said when he added the text message in place, and that goes with this third email, so we put it in down there with the third email, 15 minutes before the actual webinar is going to start, he increased his attendance rate from like 45% to 55%, something like that. So this is something that we've done as well. I've not tested the exact numbers, but it definitely increases the attendance rate because people get the text message. Nearly everybody reads their text messages, and therefore you kind of guarantee that somebody sees it, and then it's a nice reminder, and then it's only 15 minutes before, so they go and they jump on. And if you're doing your replay at a fixed time, you even could do the same thing here. Sometimes with replay, people do it as you can go and watch it any time in the next 3 days or something like that. So in which case you wouldn't be able to have the text message for that one. Now, one of the other things that's super nice if we can do it is to warm people up before they get to the actual webinar. And that means, if I move this back over a little bit further, connecting with either these 2 pre-webinar reminder emails or a couple of separate ones, some useful content that kind of gets people warmed up, and video content works really nicely for this. So if we set up over here a video page, let's see, I'll just use the sales video icon but change it just to say video. It doesn't have to be video, but video is a really good way of doing these. And so you have either from the reminder emails or a couple of other emails here pointing people to these videos here. And that gets the audience really nicely warmed up in advance. Now, the other thing you can do, of course, like we've said, anytime you have emails, you also have some retargeting that goes with it. So you can have retargeting pointing people to these videos in advance. And this can be a couple of different things. Authority ones work quite well here. If you link to an interview with you or something where you've been interviewed on a blog or on a podcast or a video, what have you. Sharing little tips in advance that get people excited about it, telling them a little bit more about what they're going to learn. Russell Brunson does this really well. If you sign up for any of his webinars, you'll see probably some of these videos in advance where he's kind of giving you some exciting tips beforehand. Now, what we've got here is, as you can see, an unbelievably thorough webinar funnel. Instead of what we started with, just the webinar through to the sales page, we've got all these ways of keeping people on track. We've got more things available for them to buy. So we're increasing the average cart value, and we're increasing the number of people who actually will go all the way through the funnel. What this can mean is that the funnel becomes so profitable you can afford to run ads to it as well. It's not guaranteed, but if you do reach that level, then we can, wait 1 second, there we go. We can add some ads in at the beginning over here, pointing people directly into that opt-in. So instead of retargeting, that's going to be just ads to cold. And that can drive a huge amount more traffic in there. And if you've got the right funnel and you've got the right opt-in page and so on, then you're actually going to be able to drive a lot more traffic, make a lot more revenue from it. One of the things, last thing that's really super important for this is once you've got all of this in place, let me move this over just a little bit, see how best I can fit this in, is all of this is basically still your front end. This is all about just getting people to buy something through the webinar after a couple of days. Lots of people still aren't going to buy. Most people, like 95%, even with all of this stuff in place, still aren't going to buy, but they're still great leads. These are still people who are interested in the topic. They're still people you should follow up with and provide them with more useful information. So what you can do is link this after people have gone through the whole thing with a tripwire funnel. There's another video that I've recorded about the ideal funnel for selling online courses, which is more about just the ongoing email follow-up. But I'll give you a very, very quick version of it here. You can go and watch that separately and download the template for that. But basically, you just have, after this is finished, just long-term, lots more emails going out. So this would be after someone's either reached the thank you page or they didn't make it all the way through, is they end up in this funnel down here, and you just get a ton more content, and then you send out useful information and you make lots more offers. So you send people to, maybe you send them to the same sales page again after you've sent some more content. Maybe you send them to different sales pages for different offers, but it just continues going on and on and on. Stay in touch with people for months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, in 2 years, that kind of thing. So we've outlined the funnel now where you can see we've got a lot more people going to be attending the webinar, a lot more people going to be getting through to the sales page, a lot more people going to be buying some more expensive options from you. You're going to be making a lot more money. Potentially you've got more traffic. You've then got lots more emails going out to them afterwards. And there's two kind of reactions I normally get when I show this to people. And the first is, that is really impressive. And the second is, that is overwhelming and looks like a lot of work. Now, the reason that this looks like a lot of work is because it's a lot of work. It's complicated. There's tons of automation to set up. You need all the content. It takes lots of time. You don't have to do this to do a webinar funnel, but if you do this, it is going to enormously increase the amount of revenue you make from it. So, let's talk about whether it's worth it and what kind of difference all of this can make. I've given you some numbers along the way. The attendance rates, a normal attendance rate for a webinar, if you don't have all this stuff in place, could be 20 to maybe 30%. When you put all of this in place, you can get up potentially to about 55%. The completion rate for your webinar is mostly going to depend on the presentation, but by getting people back if they don't finish, you're going to potentially get it up from maybe 70% to 90%, and that's getting people back here. Let me zoom back in. That's getting people all the way through to finishing the webinar, so up to about maybe 90%. The percentage of people buying on the webinar, with all of this stuff in place, all of these emails and retargeting at this stage, you can potentially get it up to like maybe 5 to 10% of people who finish buying what you've got on offer. With the upsell, you potentially can get 10 to maybe even 40% of people who buy actually going and buying the upsell, and that's going to double your average cart value. And then the second upsell, you might get 10 to maybe 25%. So obviously that brings in a lot more revenue and makes it really worthwhile. Now, like I said, it's still a huge amount of work. So have a good think about that and decide if this is the right thing for you to put in place. Maybe you just start out small. You know, the reason I showed this one step at a time is because you can just add it in those kind of stages, add in the emails and then add in the retargeting and then add in the upsells and that kind of thing. If you've got any more questions about this, you've got questions about this funnel, or you want any help with it, then email me. My email is john@datadrivenmarketing.co. and I'd be happy to answer your questions about it, or tell you like how you can get more support with it, that kind of thing. So I hope that was helpful, and I look forward to talking with you soon.